What is the rarest possible thing that could ever happen to you in Skyblock? Maybe dropping a Necron's handle on your first run, or getting a Devon's alloy while the global drop rate is 1 in 800,000, or maybe even getting a Celadon die from a tiny sludge. While all these things are rare, if we want to find the absolute rarest possible thing to happen in the entire game, there are a lot of things we can manipulate to pull that off. While something like getting an Inquisitor and then dropping all 4 items at once is rare, it's multiple rare things compounding into one rare thing. What I want to find for this video is the rarest single thing, not just a bunch of slightly rare things chaining together to make one rare series of events. If we did that, we could just go on forever and ever. To do what I've hypothesized to be the single rarest thing possible in Skyblock, we need to kill a corrupted lava blaze with a gilded Midas swords with a tier 4 blaze slayer quest active without getting a critical hit while we have 99 crit chance, and also get a ferocity proc with only 0.3 ferocity while Jerry is elected during Diana's perks with a shiny yellow rock damage buff and negative 60 magic find on a loot share kill. Now, I know that's a lot, but bear with me here. The lava blaze can be caught in the crystal hollows by fishing in lava at fishing level 20, and because we need to loot share it, we need a friend to fish it up for us. After it's caught, we need to place a totem of corruption to corrupt the mob, but I'll explain why we do that in a little bit. Now we need to get a non-critical final hit, which is a 1 in 100 chance if we have 99 critical strike chance. Secondly, we need to activate ferocity on the same hit. The base amount of ferocity is 0, and the minimum positive ferocity we can get is 0.3. We can get this ferocity from enriching a talisman with the ferocity enrichment, which brings our chance to proc ferocity on a mob up to a 1 in 333 chance. We also need to activate the shiny yellow rocks ability, which has a 1 in 1 trillion chance to buff our damage by 100%. It's really low because you're not actually supposed to keep this level of the talisman. You get this talisman from completing the first step of the Romero and Juliet questline, and 1-0 is removed from the activation chance every time you complete a part of the quest, which is why the lowest tier has such a low chance to activate. At its maximum tier, it has a 1 in 100 chance to give you a damage buff, which is much more reasonable, but for what we're trying to do, the lowest tier works best. Those are all of the events that can happen on hit, so now we need everything to happen perfectly after the lava blaze dies. We picked the lava blaze because it's the only mob in the entire game that can drop 2 dies, which are the rarest items in the game. Specifically, it can drop the Carmine and Flame die. The Carmine die can be obtained from any 3 of the lava sea creatures found in the Crystal Hollows, and the Flame die can drop from any blaze type mob, which the lava blaze obviously is. The reason these dies are so important is because of their absurd rarity, with Carmine die having a 1 in 20 million drop rate and Flame die having a 1 in 1 million drop rate. On top of that, because the lava blaze is a regular mob, it also rolls to drop a Phoenix pet, and the legendary tier of the pet has a 1 in 30 million drop chance. The lava blaze has 2 other drops as well, the Eternal Flame Ring with a 1 in 200 drop chance, and the Magma Core with a 1 in 500 drop chance. The chance of dropping the entire regular loot pool with no magic find is already 1 in 2 trillion, and that's without including the multitude of other things we can do. Firstly, we can reduce the drop rate of all the items in 2 ways, magic find and loot sharing. Loot sharing is a mechanic that allows players to drop loot from other players' mobs or bosses, but with lower chances. Specifically, the drop rates are all reduced by 5 times, meaning every drop is 5 times rarer than it would be if it was your mob. So right away we can reduce our chances a ton by just killing someone else's lava blaze, but we can also abuse magic find to lower our chances even more. Basically, magic find adjusts how rare items are depending on how much magic find you have. If you have 100 magic find, all drops are 100% more likely to drop. This is the magic find formula, and as you can see, if we put 100 in for our magic find and 1% in for the base drop rate, we double the drop rate, bringing it up to 2%. But the same thing is applicable to negative magic find. If we have negative 100 magic find, all drops are 100% less likely to drop. There's only one way to get negative magic find though, and that's the Habanero Tactics Ultimate Enchantment, which you've probably never heard of because it's really expensive and kinda bad. But it has the special ability of taking away 15 magic find if you don't have the Smoldering Polarization effect. Because the enchantment is applied to armor pieces, that also means we can have 4 pieces with it on at one time, which will take away 60 magic find instead of just 15. Because the default magic find is 0, as long as we don't get any magic find upgrades, we'll be at exactly negative 60, which will reduce the drop rates of most items by 60%, which is as low as we can get. There's one last thing we did to decrease the chance of dropping every item, and that's corrupting the lava blaze. When a mob gets corrupted, it has a health increase and drops corrupted fragments and sulfur, but those are nearly guaranteed drops, so it doesn't help very much. But corrupted sea creatures are given the chance to drop an obfuscated 1 trophy fish, as well as a corruption 1 enchanted book. And because the lava blaze is a sea creature, these are added to the loot table. The Corruption 1 book has a 1 in 100 chance to drop, and with the loot share chance decrease as well as our negative magic find, that gets brought down to 1 in 1,250. The Obfuscated 1 fish has a 25% chance to be dropped, but because it has a chance higher than 5%, our magic find doesn't affect it. So we can only reduce the 1 in 4 chance down to a 1 in 20 with loot share. But because the obfuscated one fish is a trophy fish, that means it has a bronze, silver, gold, and diamond tier. The diamond tier is the rarest, with only 1 in 500 trophy fish being diamond tier. So the overall chance to get a diamond tier obfuscated one trophy fish from loot share is 1 in 10,000. With these 2 extra items added to the loot table, as well as the decreased chances for magic find and loot share, our overall chance to drop every item all on the same kill is 1 in 228 septillion. Up until now though, we've only calculated how rare getting all the drops are. We still need to factor in our non-critical hit, ferocity proc, rock of love proc, and also on-kill events. There are a few things that can happen after we kill the lava blaze. The first is the kill triggering some mob spawns. I specified that we would need to do this during Jerry, and that's because when Jerry is elected, hidden Jerry mobs have a chance to spawn whenever you gain XP. There are 4 types of Jerrys that can spawn: the green, blue, purple, and golden variants. The golden variant, of course being the rarest, has a 1 in 22 chance to spawn. But hidden Jerrys can also be runic. When a mob spawns, it has a 1 in 200 chance to be runic, which increases their health a little bit and also lets them drop runes. Because of this, we can try to spawn a runic golden Jerry, which brings the 1 in 22 chance down to a 1 in 4,400 chance. On top of that, Mare Jerry has a perk that cycles through all other Mare perks, giving everyone the perks of a random Mare for 6 hours. Because of that, if we kill the blaze while Diana's perks are active, we can also have the chance to spawn a mythological monster, and that can be runic as well. There are a lot of types of mythical mobs, the most famous of course being the Minos Inquisitor because it can drop Chimera. The only issue is, the rare mythos mobs can only spawn when you have a legendary griffin pet equipped, but it gives us 10 magic find. Thankfully, we can actually avoid getting magic find on our kill and still spawn mythological mobs. We can use pet rules to switch our pet on a blaze kill to a pet that gives no magic find, so we get to roll for an Inquisitor spawn without keeping the 10 magic find the legendary griffin pet gives us. The only thing we can't avoid is Diana's passive 25 pet luck perk, which increases the chance to drop pets. This matters for us because we're trying to drop a legendary phoenix pet, and having a higher chance to get one is the opposite of what we want to do. But even though we get a higher chance to drop a phoenix, our overall chance will still go down by requiring that we spawn a runic inquisitor, so we'll just have to be okay with the extra pet luck. The last thing we can try to do is spawn a slayer mini boss, which is why I said we need to have a tier 4 blaze quest active when we kill the mob. If we have a blaze slayer quest active, every blaze we kill has a small chance to spawn a mini boss, and the burning soul demon is the rarest blaze slayer mini boss that can be spawned. Even though the lava blaze is a fishing mob, it still gives XP that counts towards our slayer quest, which means it still rolls the chance to spawn a mini boss. The final thing that can happen is our kill triggering the gilded reforge. I said that we need to kill the lava blaze with a gilded Midas sword, and that's because it's the only weapon that can have the gilded reforge on it. The reason we want this reforge is because it gives us a 1 in 100 chance to give a random player in the lobby some coins whenever we kill a mob. The maximum amount is 50 million, which has a 1 in 10,000 chance to happen. So with a 1 in 10,000 chance to activate and a 1 in 10,000 chance to grant someone 50 million coins, the overall chance is 1 in 1 million. That's about all we can do though, so how rare is all of that? When killing a corrupted lava blaze without getting a critical hit, while having 99 critical strike chance with a ferocity proc while having only 0.3 ferocity, with a 100% damage buff from the Rock of Love, spawning a runic Minos Inquisitor, runic Golden Jerry, and a burning soul demon, giving someone 50 million coins from the gilded reforge, and dropping an eternal flame ring, magma core, flame die, carmen die, corruption 1 book, and a diamond obfuscated 1 trophy fish on a loot share kill with negative 60 magic find and 25 pet luck is 1 in 5.5 Novem Decillion. So unless there's a mob I missed that can bump our chances down lower, this is the rarest thing that could ever happen in the entire game. Lastly, shout out to Vofer Paul, Starry Skies, and Backwards Eelman for unknowingly helping me by responding to my friend on the forums. And of course, credit to Terrasteel because I stole his idea for this video. One last thing though, someone told me if I put on a dream skin, I can do the lava blaze thing first try, so I mean, I can try it, but it's obviously not true.